Hello and a very good evening to you. Welcome to Friday. This is TV 47. The top 3 stories prepared just for you. Tonight.
Kwenda mbele ndo alingonga Nissan juu. After kungonga hapo ilitoka the 2 front tires.
We piece together moments before the crash that claimed the lives of at least 16 Pwani University students as family begin identifying the bodies of the kin. Also tonight, government maintains it cannot meet Odinga's demands.
There is no constitutional provision in our constitution for a handshake arrangement.
As the Azimio leader insists his life is in danger.
The attempt on our lives, and that must have been orchestrated and been planned from the very top.
Plus, detectives from the Homicide Department of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations collect more samples for toxicological analysis after exhuming the body of the late interior designer Geoffrey Jeff Mwathi. Welcome to the broadcast. Catherine Simalo is on the sign language interpretation and news list. Stanley Erungeta economists talk to us on socials below your screens. Tonight, Azimio coalition party leader Raila Odinga has cast blame on President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua, claiming they wanted him assassinated during Thursday's protests in Eastlands, Nairobi. Odinga's allegations were backed by his co-principal Martha Karua, who has instructed his lawyers to write a demand letter to the Inspector General of Police, Japhet Kome, on the assassination attempt. TV 47's Apollo Kumar reports on a day Odinga slammed the international community for turning a blind eye to the opposition outfit.
The arrival of Azimio leader Raila Odinga in his home county of Siaya for the burial of the first woman mayor and first woman MP Grace Anyango opened a floodgate of condemnations on Thursday's deadly protests that Odinga is now claiming he was targeted for assassination, alleging the orders were from President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua.
Condemn in the strongest terms possible what happened yesterday. The attempt on our lives, and that must have been orchestrated and been planned from the very top. We don't want to deal with the police officers. Police officers are just servants. As if a police officer would have no reason to come and shoot Raila Odinga. That police officer was instructed by Inspector General, was also instructed by the minister, was also instructed by his superiors, the Deputy President and the President of the Republic of Kenya. And that's where we face our guns.
And I now know why they were throwing so much tear gas. They wanted a cloud to cover the direct attempt on him. If it was not an assassination attempt, tell me why you were shooting at his windscreen at the side where he is seated at close range.
Thursday's protests that inflicted injuries on journalists and civilians marching to Outer Ring Road to the city centre only to find a police barricade could become a subject of investigations after Odinga's deputy Martha Karua said she has instructed her lawyers to take up the matter.
I asked my lawyers, and I hope they have done so before the end of the day, to write a demand letter to IG Kome, because it is under his command, that yesterday we were assaulted with tear gas and our leader with live bullets.
Today we are here with Baba. It's a miracle. It's a miracle because yesterday Baba was being killed. I am saying because I was there.
Gachagua and Ruto, you cannot be Christians. And you use bullets to kill the people of Kenya. Christians use the Bible and they reason together.
The sensational claims from Azimio came with yet another condemnation to the international community, and specifically the United States, for turning a blind eye to human rights violations during the protests and for endorsing last year's presidential election results, which Azimio disputes.
We do not want lectures from our development partners. We must allow Kenyans to make a decision of their own. And we will continue to question. And we have said that we will demand that the servers must be opened so that we can be able to interrogate the results in the servers.
This comes in the backdrop of back-to-back meetings with U.S. Ambassador Meg Whitman and U.S. Senator Chris Coons, credited for Odinga-Uhuru handshake in 2018. This week's meeting bore no fruit, with Odinga maintaining Azimio's demands are non-negotiable. Azimio leaders have told President Ruto to brace for the mother of all demos this coming Monday. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Meanwhile, President William Ruto has reiterated the importance of observing Constitution while exercising rights envisaged in the Constitution without overstepping the rights of others, especially during the ongoing Azimio One Kenya demonstrations against government. Speaking during the launch of the Public Service Internship Program and acknowledgement of the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, KICC, President William Ruto states that no one has rights to destruction of property, insisting with his deputy Rigathi Gachagua that no handshake will take place.
A day after protests which were marred with chaos in Nairobi County and other parts of the country, President William Ruto has urged Kenyans to be law-abiding citizens and desist from engaging in destruction of property and causing mayhem. Speaking during the launch of Public Service Internship Program and acknowledgement of Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, President insisted that the law prohibits him to fulfill some of Odinga's irreducible minimums.
But it is my position that the Constitution did not envisage that different opinions would result in chaos or loss of property or loss of life. We must, all of us, be able to celebrate all the rights provided for in our Constitution in a manner that respects the rights of others, and also in a manner that does not destroy property or in a manner that does not make our children know.
Even as calls for dialogue from various quarters persist, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has asked President William Ruto not to be distracted by the weekly Azimio protests in the execution of his mandate, clearly stating no handshake will take place anytime soon.
President William Ruto took the Bible before God and before man in Kasarani and sought to protect the Constitution. Those who are asking him to violate that Constitution are being unfair to him. There is no constitutional provision in our Constitution for a handshake arrangement. It's not there. The president cannot reinstate IEBC commissioners. He doesn't have that power or authority. The president would not even know where the server is stored because it's not his work. This server is being looked for in Mukuru Kayaba, in Koinange Street. I don't know where they are looking for it. We are also interested.
Further, Gachagua termed the demands by Odinga on electoral reforms, which include the opening of IBC servers and reinstatement of Cherera 4, as impossible. Gachagua claimed that the Azimio protests are no longer demonstrations but post-election violence, urging police officers to protect lives, property and businesses during opposition picketing.
And these are not demonstrations. This is post-election violence. The elections was done, Supreme Court ruled, and these people have brought violence. And these are not demonstrations anymore. It's post-election violence. Your Excellency, you have given guidance to this country. This is a country of the rule of law. Let our officers protect life and property, and let everybody go about his businesses without hindrance, without intimidation, because this is our country.
Elizabeth Mutuko, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, on a sad note, survivors of the ill-fated Pwani University bus that was involved in a gruesome road accident in Naivasha, Nakuru County Thursday evening have given their recount on how the accident happened, saying that they suspect the bus had lost its brakes.
Grief, sadness and pain is the main expression of the survivors of the ill-fated Pwani University bus that was destined for Eldoret town from Mombasa County for a sports event before it was involved in an accident in Naivasha, Nakuru County. The accident has since claimed the lives of 18 individuals, 4 of whom are staff, 7 students, while 7 are individuals who are in a public matatu that had a head-on collision with the bus. The survivors of the accident, while recuperating from hospital, recount how the accident happened. Clinton Maluki is a 4th-year student at Pwani University, and he says he suspects the bus started showing glimpses of mechanical hitches 17 kilometers from the scene of the accident.
Driver alijaribu kumanage hiyo gari, akapita basi ya shule, akaingonga nyuma, akandivert back to the road, akandivert back, akatoka kwa barabara kuondokea magari mengine. When he went back, ashike barabara try kwenda mbele, ndo alingonga Nissan juu. Na after kungonga hapo, ilitoka the 2 front tires, na gari ikaroll over, ikaanguka hapo kwa tunnel. Then ikahit, we found ourselves there.
Abigail Tempes Stevens is a 2nd-year student at Pwani University and survived the accident, and she says she suspects the bus lost its brake as the driver hesitated to cause panic by explaining to the students what had actually happened, while the sports master urged them to buckle up and put on their seatbelts.
The scenario ilianza just past the bridge, but tulikuwa tunasifu derea anaendesha gari, ndio sasa tukaanza kuona ikifika kwa bump inaenda abnormally. Watu wengine walikuwa wamegongwa, tukamwambia derea simamisha gari, bado wako anaongea. At some point ndo sports manager akasema mfunge belt, like toward sasa ikienda ku finalize hiyo kugonga hiyo gari, ilikuja kugonga hiyo Nissan. Ni kama hiyo gari li loose brake venye tumeambiwa, but dereva alijaribu for a long time.
While parents of students of Pwani University who were in the bus gather at the Naivasha General Hospital morgue to identify the bodies, 9 bodies have already been retrieved by the families against the directive issued out by the institution's management that all the bodies of the students should be transferred to the Chiromo Funeral Home. Other parents who retrieved the bodies from the Naivasha General Hospital morgue have transferred them to Kilgoris, Gilgil, Eldoret and western parts of Kenya as they blamed the institution's administration for failing to communicate effectively over the disastrous occurrence.
As a school, they are supposed to have a record of children going out. So it was their responsibility to check with the records, check with the hospital and take the responsibility of informing parents that the children are no more. We came here through casework. After reaching here at around 3, that is the time the school is now calling me, telling me of the unfortunate.
20 victims of the accident were admitted and recuperating from Naivasha General Hospital, while 7 others were referred to the Kenyatta National Hospital.
We are now transferring the remains to Chiromo mortuary. We have around 8, which we are now taking right away with their relatives on board. At the moment, what we are doing as Kenya Red Cross, we are doing counseling to the relatives and the affected people. And we have also a tracing desk, at least just for inquiry desk, just in case maybe somebody is having information about the loved one who is missing.
While the survivors continue to recuperate, they explain the grief of losing their close friends is one they hope to overcome in due time. Dennis Otieno, TV 47.
May their souls rest in eternal peace. Now, the body of slain interior designer Geoffrey Mwathi was today exhumed at his parents' home in Likia, Njoro Sub-County, in Nakuru County. And as Elizabeth Atieno reports, the exhumation comes just days after the directive pronounced by the Office of the DCI and the National Police Service.
This was the situation in Likia village, Nakuru County. Tens of detectives from the homicide department led by government pathologist Dr. Johansen Oduor visited the home occupied by the late Jeff Mwathi's parents, where they exhumed the body to conduct a second post-mortem examination to establish the main cause of death. The exercise, which lasted for hours, was closely monitored by Mwathi's family and police officers. During the procedure, detectives from the homicide department collected more samples from the exhumed body of Jeff Mwathi to ascertain if he was indeed sodomized. Detectives also took measurements from Mwathi's chest to establish whether he jumped off the Redwood apartments through the window, as was stated in the preliminary investigations.
Jeff had severe head injuries, which were also seen in the first autopsy, and there was some fracture of the, I can't remember which, right or left upper and lower limbs. Remember, there was some allegation of sodomy. So we've taken some swabs from the anal region, which will undergo DNA. We've taken samples for toxicological analysis. We want to know whether there were some toxins involved, or whether there are also any drugs or all that involved. So that now, when all these samples come to us from the lab, we'll sit down and analyze everything and come up with a conclusive result.
After conducting the autopsy, Mwathi's body was taken back to the grave. The body has been exhumed just days after the DCI boss Mohamed Amin and Inspector General of Police Japhet Kome ordered for the exhumation to help with investigations.
So tunaambiwa huyu aliruka kutoka kwa nyumba fulani, lakini tunaangalia hiyo shimo, so we need again to have that body exhumed, look at the dimensions, pahali yalitokea na mwili wake. So we are doing thorough investigations, as I've told you, including exhumation.
Jeff Mwathi died on the 22nd of February 2023 after he fell from the 12th floor of Redwood Apartments in Kasarani. Mugithi singer DJ Fatso was identified as the main suspect since the incident happened in his house, where his cousin, driver, and 2 other women were present. Preliminary investigation revealed that Mwathi met with Fatso to discuss interior design business and was set to receive his down payment that fateful morning. The Directorate of Criminal Investigations has since ruled out suicide as the main cause of Mwathi's death, and now the affected family is anxiously waiting for the results of the second and fresh autopsy conducted today so as to solve the puzzle surrounding Mwathi's death. Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Now, a 9-year-old grade 4 student from Riangombe School in Nyamira County has revealed his shocking ordeal at the hands of his teacher, who caned him over 100 strokes. 4 teachers have since been arrested in connection with the incident and are awaiting arraignment in court. Paul Kirube with the details.
Ilikuwa nimeanika nguo. Sasa mtu akakuja, akaanua, akaiba hiyo nguo, shati yangu. Sasa wakainini, akaenda, akaivaa.
These are the frustrations Titus Ondari, a 9-year-old grade 4 student, went through moments before his teacher allegedly caned him over 100 strokes that made him unable to walk properly or even able to sit comfortably. But when he tried explaining his pain, his teacher ignored his plea, only to continue caning him.
Nikashikwa kichwa, nikashikwa mguu, nikashikwa mkono ikaikwa mbele, mguu mpaka nikashindwa hata kunini. Wakaanza kunitandika, kwanza sikusikia, ya pili, ya tatu, nikaanza kusikia uchungu. Wakatandika viboko zaidi hata sizikahesabu. Ukihesabu wanarudia tena, wanaanzia fresh. Wakanitandika ni wakanichapa 1 hour.
So painful was Ondari's ordeal that his friends had to intervene to take him to the dormitory.
Kina rafiki yangu anaitwa, kuna kijana klasi yetu anaitwa Reo Mbae na Job Mwebu, wakakuja wakanibeba wakanipeleka mpaka kwa stairs ya down, wakanipandisha bado nikaripoti, wakaniambia ati kidonda sio kubwa na nilikuwa nasikia maumivu. So nikaenda class. Hata kukaa sikuwa naweza kukaa.
Nyamira Assistant County Commissioner Malaki Nyamai says he saw the story on social media and directed officers from the Education Ministry to find out what had happened. By last evening, at least 4 people had been arrested: the school head teacher, his deputy, grade 4 class teacher, and the matron.
And as the administration and the managers of security, we swung to action, and the teacher concerned is already arrested, ready for prosecution. As we know, the Children's Act 2022, Chapter 25, Section 3, says very clear that Kenya is a signatory to the international laws, the same way we have seen, because that's criminal, and we are going to deal with this particular teacher as a criminal, and no amount of pressure is going to deter the government from executing its mandate in terms of punishing this particular public servant.
Nyamai has warned teachers against issuing corporal punishment on students and instead find a way to instill values that will even help them in future.
And there are so many other ways on how to punish a child, which are human, which are able to grow a child into a person understanding and not stressed in life. So we are condemning this, and as a government, we've discussed very well in our CEB meeting.
Ninashangaa sana sababu mtoto mchanga kama huyu wa miaka 9 ambaye tumechukua shuleni na tulimtoa shule Nairobi tukasema mtoto asomee huku, huyu mtoto amekaa shuleni for karibu miezi 2 peke yake. Sasa wanatuhumu mtoto namna hii mpaka ninashangaa. Yaani huu ni unyama wa hali gani mtoto anaweza kuadhibiwa?
Paul Kirobi, TV47.
Now, meanwhile, the country's universities have been urged to forge a strong working relationship with the government and other stakeholders in support and promotion of sustainable development goals for better nation. And the appeal was made by Mount Kenya University co-founder Dr. Jen Nyutu, who says through research and community engagements, the country will achieve in areas that have a positive impact on human life. Our sentiments were echoed by MKU's Vice Chancellor, Deogratius Joganye, saying that there's a need to provide solutions to challenges facing world economies and end inequality. The two were speaking during the 8th International Interdisciplinary and Inter-Universities Consortium Conference held in Thika.
This allows university to partner with many universities, with the industry and with practitioners in all areas that are positive impacts to human life, namely medicine, animal health and production, education, social and physical sciences, etc. Thus, in a collaborative effort, the communities across the world will be very well benefit from these joint activities of our deliberations during this consortium. In this regard, may all the deliberations of this conference lead to a future engagements with the governments, institutions of learning, and other stakeholders in support and promotion of the Sustainable Development Goals 2030, and more specifically in support of reduced inequalities.
As you are aware, universities have a triple mandate of teaching, research, and community engagement. The interdisciplinary and inter-university consortium, as here represented by its member, is a useful strategy for assisting universities in attaining their missions and varied visions. However,